What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WrestleRant, where every single week I, Graham Giuseppe Matthews, break down all the pay-per-views that I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the Global Wrestling Network. Today we're talking ECW Living Dangerously, 1998. Now, I will preface this by saying this episode should have been up last week. I still have one to upload for this week. I've just been extremely busy over the last month, 2 months or so. So I apologize for that. All the videos that have not been posted over the last 5 days or so will be up in the coming days, like 3 network and chills, this WrestleRant video. We got 2 WrestleRant radio excerpts coming up tomorrow here on the channel. Hashtag's already up, so bear with me. But nonetheless, ECW Living Dangerously, 1998, like I said, not a great show, like, at all. We've had some better ECW shows. I don't know if this was the worst one that I've seen so far, but it was not a good show, like, whatsoever. Like, not one match, like, oh, it's well worth watching for this match, or these couple of matches. Like, no. Like, almost all of these matches were shit. We kicked off the night with a tag team match. Jerry Lynn and Chris Chetti. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but Chris Chetti, I'll call him. Taking on the FBI. In about a 10-minute match. It was all right. It was okay. Nothing too special about it. It was fast-paced. They kept the energy up. It got the crowd into the show, so it served its purpose in that respect. Otherwise, it was fairly bland, bit formulaic, but again, like I said, it served its purpose and kicking out the show on a high note, and the baby faces went over much to the delight of the crowd, so it served its purpose in that respect. Unfortunately, it was largely all downhill from there. We had Masato Tanaka taking on Furnas, I apologize. Again, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. He was a holdout from WWE. He was from WWE, jumped ship to ECW to make him kind of feel like a bigger deal, because that was when WWE and ECW had that working relationship, I believe. Tanaka was supposed to take on Wing Kanamura, I believe his name was. And they showed a whole video package for him. Here's the weird thing. So the match was supposed to be Tanaka and Kanamura. And they showed, well, before they even showed the video package, Joey Styles even said on commentary, Kanamura isn't even here tonight, and he's facing Doug Furnas instead. So they showed the video package for Kanamura anyway, like he was supposed to be taking on Tanaka. So it made absolutely no sense. So that was really weird. Before the match, we had a promo from a guy named Lance Wright, who said he was from the WWE and Vince McMahon is my boss and all this other shit just to get heat. It was awful. Fucking terrible. An awful promo followed by a really bad match. The match was not good at all. Had so many botches. It's ridiculous. Tanaka, I've seen had better matches. I've seen have better matches before and later on in ECW, but this was not one of them. This fucking sucked. Thankfully, it was only 5 minutes and it didn't overstay its welcome, but it was probably 4 minutes longer than it needed to be. Thankfully, Tanaka went over, but this sucked. This was really, really bad. Rob Van Dam and Too Cold Scorpio got an amazing amount of time for their match up next, about almost a half an hour. And it was a good match, but the thing with these guys, like on paper, it sounds like a great match, and I was actually looking forward to it. I was actually excited for it. The issue here is that when they went for all this stupid, dumb shit, instead of just going for a straightforward wrestling match, which is what they should have had. But it was just marred by just bad booking and stupid overbooking with interference from Sabu, and then the Sandman got involved afterward because they had their thing going on, a match that wasn't supposed to air on the show, but it did anyway. More on that later. But again, it was a good match, and it didn't overstay its welcome, unlike the previous match. But, you know, it was really, really good. Could have been better if they just went for a straightforward singles wrestling match. Just the match. Just let them go out there and do their thing and not just fucking hinder them with this dumb shit, with the extreme stuff and the weapons. And I know that's what ECW is all about, but they went overboard with it at times. Usually more often than not. And that was the case here. But again, it was a good match. Probably the best match in the whole show. Rob Van Dam did go over. Like I said, Sabu interfered towards the end. Sandman got involved afterward to help Scorpio. And then they're drinking a beer for whatever reason. The whole thing was really dumb, but at least it was a good match. Then we had a 3-way tag team match. A triple threat tag team match, which was basically a 3-way dance, which is what they called it. It was New Jack and Spike Dudley taking on the Dudley Boys and the Hardcore Chair Swinging Freaks. This was so fucking pointless. This served no purpose, like, at all. So the match started off with the Dudley Boys and the Hardcore Chair Swinging Freaks. And it was alright. It was just a glorified brawl, but it was alright. And then I hate this. So whenever like New Jack comes out, this time it was with Spike Dudley as his tag team partner, they play this terrible music like on a loop for the rest of the match. Not for like 30 seconds, not even for like a minute or two. They play it for like 5 to 10 minutes. They played it for the remainder of the match and well after the match too. And it was so annoying. And there were so many like dumb spots and just pointless brawling, like mindless brawling that served no purpose, had no psychology. And again, I'm not saying like with RVD and Too Cold Scorpio, it's supposed to be a wrestling match, but Jesus Christ, this wasn't even entertaining. Like you can do a brawl and have it be entertaining. This was just a total garbage match in the worst possible way. This was so bad. New Jack and Spike Dudley went over in a near 13-14 minute match. This was bad. Tommy Dreamer took on Justin Credible up next. Again, same thing. Same exact thing. Just a lot of just mindless crap. Just brawling and brawling and brawling and no real semblance of an actual match. Dreamer went over, but Jesus Christ, this was dumb. Again, nothing really out of this made me think, oh, this was a great match. Like, this was exciting at all. No, it was just a match, and they just punched and kicked each other for like 10 minutes, and then Dreamer won. Just, again, completely pointless. For the ECW World Television Championship, it was Tazz taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow was the revered hero in his home state, so he had that going for him. I was actually looking forward to this match. I was actually looking forward to seeing these two go head-to-head. And it was a decent match, but again, way too much brawling. Way more brawling than there needed to be. It could have been a good match if they played it the right way and told the right story. But again, they just went way too over the top with it, especially with the finish. So Bam Bam put Tazz through the ring, and then Bam Bam pulled him out of the ring, actually through the ring, like Big Show Brock Lesnar style. And it was a memorable moment. People still replay that spot and talk about that spot nearly 2 decades later. But just as a match, this sucked. It was a one-spot match. It was just the finish, and that's it. I honestly could not tell you much more about this match than just the finish. It was bad. Bigelow went over, so that was smart. I mean, they gave the popular babyface, the hometown hero, the big victory in the championship, which was good. But as a match, it was not what it could have been, and it really was just built around one spot. That was cool, but that's all ECW was known for, was just this one spot. For actual matches, at least at this point in time, they were not exactly flourishing in that department. So here's the thing with this. So because of that spot, we were told that we were going to go to the next match, the main event, the Al Snow or the Lance Storm main event against Shane Douglas and Chris Candido. But because the ring was all fucked up, they couldn't go to the match. And we were told all throughout the night that this match between Sabu and the Sandman was so aggressive, so intense, so brutal, so bloody, that it couldn't be shown on television, despite the fact that it was pay-per-view, but whatever. We can't show it on the show. So because of the spot where the ring got busted open by Tazz and Bigelow, they were forced to show the footage. And they did, and there was absolutely nothing about this that screamed to me that it was too much for TV. Absolutely not. Instead, we just got a really, 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 really bad match. It was called a Dueling Canes match, just all these Singapore Canes, and it was stupid. It was stupid. They beat the hell out of each other, but not in like entertaining fashion. Again, just mindless crap. There wasn't any blood. It just bored me to tears, if anything else. Sabu went over in like a 10-minute match, and that's all it was. A massive disappointment. And then you get to the main event. So this was a whole lot of like Vince Russo book shit. So Lance Storm was supposed to take on Shane Douglas and Chris Candido by finding a partner. He finds Sonny. He finds Sonny to team with him. And Sonny, for those not keeping track at home, is the wife or was together with Candido by this point. So Sonny was with Candido, but opted to team with Storm to show Candido that she could beat him up too, the same way that he beats her up at home or whatever the fuck it was. Some other dumb joke they tried to make that just wasn't funny. So anyway, halfway during the match, surprise, surprise, Sonny turns on Storm. And now Storm doesn't have a tag team partner. So instead, he enlists the help of Al Snow. Al Snow comes out to these terrible camera angles, like upside down. Like we think the camera angles today from Kevin Dunn are bad. This was just almost gave me a headache. It was upside down. It was shaking. The lights were going out. It's like, oh my God. And it would be one thing if it happened during just his entrance, but it happened throughout the entire match. The entire match. They did these awful, awful, awful camera angles that just was like, oh my God, I can't follow this crap. And I can't even really talk about it because it wasn't even really much of a match. It was more of an angle than an actual match. People were behind Snow, but behind that, other than that, I should say, beyond that, it was just one total disaster. This was a disaster of a main event. It went 5 minutes, hardly a main event of a pay-per-view worthy, hardly worthy of the main event of the show. This was a complete waste of time. And that was it. That closed out the ECW Living Dangerously 1998 show. Other than RVD and Too Cold Scorpio, and even that I had issues with, this show sucked. This show was really, really bad. I would not at all recommend going out of your way to watch it. And it wasn't so bad that it's like worth making fun of, like maybe like a December to Dismember type of pay-per-view. It was just bad. Just a lot of matches that weren't actual matches, and ECW getting too cute for its own good with the brawling and the hardcore stuff. It gets to a point where when you do it too much, it just becomes too much. And people just don't want to see it. And it's not entertaining, not exciting, not compelling, not anything except for just bad. And that's what this show was. So again, 2 thumbs down from me for Living Dangerously 1998 from ECW, as seen on the network. Nonetheless, be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, this video was supposed to be up last week. I apologize for the delay. I should have another review up, hopefully by the end of the weekend. If I can watch a show and review it by then, I think it's going to be an Impact show, a TNA pay-per-view from the Global Wrestling Network, so stay tuned for that. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'm Graham Giason Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.